Alright, in this video, I'll be showing you guys how I did my lighting in the last video. I had a couple people asking on how I did it, so I'm just going to show you guys. To start off, what I did was I went into World and I changed the background from the gray to this black. This is really good if you want to do like a nighttime GFX. It really shows them how the lighting would look in the dark area. But after that, what I did was I added, let me get out of pose mode, I added a couple of light sources behind my avatar or main character. So let me just do that real quick. And then since it's so close to them, I don't need to have the light that strong. I can probably go with 100 and that would look decent. Yep, there we are. And that gives it kind of like a highlight type look. Now let me just move it a bit closer and maybe turn it up a little bit. This is the same pose as I did last time, in the last video, but I didn't save my work. But I normally don't, so I'm just trying to remake it a little bit. I mainly like to have all the lights pointing towards the shoulders and like upper head. But there we are. Those kind of give like the highlights of the face. And then I like to have two on each side. Not directly on the sides, but a little bit behind the back. And then I like to have one main light in the middle, just to highlight the whole thing. But I like the ones on the side because they can also like give more light towards the front view. But I like to have one big one in the back, just so it can give a outline to the lower body. But there we go. Now, sometimes I will opt for one above the head on the back. It just depends on how I feel that day, I guess. Because sometimes I like this, sometimes I don't. So let's take a look. So sometimes I do something like that. And that just gives a really good back highlight lighting. Now, after that, all I need to do is add an HDRI. Now, you can keep it all black like that if that's how you feel. If you don't want any like night sky and you just want darkness, you can just keep it like that. But let's opt in for a night sky on this one. So give me 1 second to add everything. And when I'm looking for an HDRI, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. So let me just type in night, but this time spelled correctly. For you first. I'm looking for something like this. I'm pretty sure this is the one I used in the last video. So let's just use that. Alright, there we go. So this is the one I used last video. And as you see, it's overall going to give a good light for the character and how to illuminate them. But sometimes it just isn't enough and it's just too dark to see the whole character. So sometimes I would bring one light source up. This could be a point light source or it can be like this one. But it's up to you. But I just think that's way too bright. So I normally have the front facing one, like, alright, there we go. So this is the one I used last video. And as you see, it's overall going to give a good light for the character and how to illuminate them. But sometimes it just isn't enough and it's just too dark to see the whole character. So sometimes I would bring one light source up. This could be a point light source or it can be like this one. But it's up to you. But I just think that's way too bright. So I normally have the front facing one, like 50. Sometimes I'll go lower. Yeah, that's still way too bright. Let's go with 10. Yep. I think that works. And to get that shininess effect, all you need to do is then go into your shading tab and just turn down the roughness and up the metallic. That's how I get that nice shine effect on the helmets and weapons. I just want to do that for all of them. Even the gun. Sometimes this principal BSDF isn't in a gun model. Depending on where you get it and who makes it, this principal BSDF, I can't speak, won't be here, and sometimes you need to add it in. But just do that for all the equipment. That's the first thing I did in the last video, I believe. But to get that shininess on the helmet, that's all you need to do. Now, the next thing you want to do is, well, if you're doing like night vision goggles, the next thing you want to do is get that glow effect. Now, I did a very simple way. It's just I added in a UV circle, and then I just brought it up to the head, sized it down to the size of the light. If you're doing like night vision goggles, the next thing you want to do is get that glow effect. Now, I did a very simple way. It's just I added in a UV circle, and then I just brought it up to the head, sized it down to the size of the light. So let me just do that real fast. And the hardest part probably about this is just, and then after that, all you want to do is just add in a mission node to the texture. And you want to hit a new one. And then you just want to go to the surface, principal BSDF, and just go to emission. And then you just want to change the color to this nice green. And then you just want to up the strength to like 10. I'm not liking the green right now, so let's go something like that. There we go. And you can just hit Shift D and then duplicate it and just move it over to the next one. It's not too difficult. I feel like there are easier ways to do this, but this is the way I did it last video. So let me just give me 1 second to line all these up. That's how you get the light. Now, sometimes these emissions don't glow bright enough, and you need to add in an additional light source. Let me just see how that looks. Yep. So to do that, all you need to do is just simply add in another light source. So Shift A, go to light, and I recommend a point light for this one. You just add it in right here. Let me get it all lined up so it goes with the goggles. Alright, there we are. Now we just want to switch it to the same light we used as the emission. And you want this one to be really weak because you don't want it taking over all the light in. So something like that. There we go. Now if you don't like how it looks, you can always just move it around, adjust the lighting source. It's up to your preference. Or if you're doing this for a commission, then I would definitely ask the person you're doing it for to see how they feel about it. But as you can see, there you go. Now from here on out, it's just how you prefer it. Now, I like to turn up the metallic on the rig itself, just so that the lighting is a little bit more matching. Now, I wouldn't recommend making the rig too metallic. It just gives off a very, I don't know, gross feeling. I don't like how it looks when the rig is too metallic. But let me just adjust this light source so it's hitting more on the shoulder. I did adjust the light source a lot on the last video. Like, I think 50% of the video was adjusting the light source. Mainly because I'm very picky on the light. I think the light makes a GFX really stand out. Alright, there we go, I like that. So then after that, you just want to adjust the camera. Oh, let me select the camera. Just so I can get something like I did the last video. Something like that. So to finish it off, to get that lighting I did, I'm gonna want to go into my Photoshop, which is GIMP. So give me 1 moment. Alright, in GIMP, you can use any Photoshop you want, but again, my preferred is GIMP. I learned in high school, and I don't want to pay for Photoshop, so I use GIMP. Anyway, normally the first thing I do is go straight to filters. I'm pretty sure it's in Photoshop too. I haven't used Photoshop in a while, but normally I go first to lights and shadow, and then I want to hit bloom. And you see, that makes the goggles just light up. Of course, you can play around with the settings. Normally the strength is the one you really want to play around with. This really makes the goggles really shine, and it also ups the lighting on the back. Make sure you don't play around with the radius too much, or it's going to look unrealistic. And so just keep playing around with it. I like how this looks already, so I'm just gonna hit OK. Now the next thing I normally do is go into curves and turn up the lighting. I don't like to turn it up too much though. Sometimes I don't touch the curve at all. Sometimes I like to leave it how it is. But for this one, I might just want to up it a little bit. There we are. And that's pretty much how I did it for the last video. If you really wanted to, if I wanted to stay true to what I did last video, I also added a blur. So let me just do that real fast. Alright, so and for this one, I normally just focus on the center of the character. So just like that. But that's pretty much how I did the lighting for the last video. If you have any more questions, leave them down in Discord. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I think 80% of my viewers are not subscribed, which is kind of bad because I only have 10 subscribers as of right now. So please subscribe. And that's about it. Have a nice day.